Brandon Johnson through a press conference. This man is hell-bent on destroying Chicago and not listening to the Chicago citizens. But you know what? I know somebody who do. President Trump, if you get this video, please, you are the people's president. You are the one we voted for. You are the real MVP. You are the one, you are the voice of the people, President Donald J. Trump. This man is hell-bent on destroying Chicago and going against everything that the Chicago citizens want. Thank you, President Donald Trump, for listening to us and hearing us to get you in office, because we know that you're the answer and the only way that we're going to make a real change in Chicago if we flip Chicago and Illinois red.
Welcome back, Warriors. It's me, Linda B. Thank you all so much for joining me here today. Now, you all, if you've been watching me for a while, you already know I don't have any kind words to say about your typical Black Democrat politician. Not just people who vote Democrat. I'm not talking about people who vote Democrat. I'm talking about the typical Black Democrat politician. Before we get into this, don't forget, smash that like button, comment, share, subscribe if you haven't already, hit all notifications so that you are always alerted of new content. Now let's get into it. So Mayor Brandon Johnson, the ridiculous mayor of Chicago. These people have had it with this man. Check it out.
Brandon Johnson through a press conference. This man is hell-bent on destroying Chicago and not listening to the Chicago citizens. But you know what? I know somebody who do. President Trump, if you get this video, please, you are the people's president. You are the one we voted for. You are the real MVP. You are the one, you are the voice of the people, President Donald J. Trump. This man is hell-bent on destroying Chicago and going against everything that the Chicago citizens want. Thank you, President Donald Trump, for listening to us and hearing us, because we Chicago Flips Red and push to get you in office, because we know that you're the answer and the only way that we're going to make a real change in Chicago if we flip Chicago and Illinois red. That's our main purpose. We want to make Chicago great again and get these crooks up out of the office, because we know they have no good, ill intentions for America, the Democrat Party. Now, we want to thank you, Mr. President, for listening to us and caring about us citizens of Chicago, because we have made a change, because a lot of people in Chicago came out and voted for you. Thank you, Mr. President, for hearing us and summoning Brandon Johnson to Washington about what's going on with these illegals. The citizens of Chicago, have demanded and asked him. We want a forensic audit. We need a breakdown of how he spent our taxpayer dollars on these illegals, because we know that him and his administration and those aldermen have stolen a lot of our tax dollars. So we have demanded a breakdown to see how it was spent, who it was spent on, and how much of our tax dollars was spent. And we have yet received anything. Even William J. Kelly, the reporter, have been asking about this. So we ask you, and we're giving you, and we want to give you, if he do not show up in Washington, then we're asking you to send the DOJ, FBI down here, because we are demanding a forensic audit.
All right, Warriors, that was Danielle Walters, I believe. Yes, Danielle Walters of Chicago Flips Red wants to have an audit done, a forensic audit done. Yes, she wants an audit of how that money has been spent. Now, these people in Chicago have had these ridiculously high property taxes. It was $300 million that they were going to be taxed, but then they cut it in half to $150 million, which is still an extremely steep amount. Look at how much they're giving the illegals and how much they're taxing their own citizens. And now this woman right here, who I've seen before, there was a clip of her where she met Tom Homan, when the borders are. And she is saying that, Brandon Johnson, you are hell bent on destroying Chicago. I'm telling you all, whatever the demon rats touch, they actually destroy. They don't do anything. This man, you've seen my videos of Brandon Johnson standing there in the city council meetings, standing there like a deer in headlights. They literally get paid to do nothing. Okay, I'm going to be nice when I say this, but Chicagoans, Black Chicagoans, any color Chicagoans, Chicago people, stop it, okay? You voted this mess in. You saw how bad it has been with Lori Lightfoot. You saw how bad it was, right? Brandon Johnson is worse because Democrat Party is going farther and farther left, okay? Farther and farther left. If you should not listen to common sense and vote in another demon rat, that's what I call Democrat politicians, I call them demon rats, okay? If you vote another one in, it's not going to be any different, okay? It's going to continuously get worse with each one because that is the trajectory of the Democrat Party. They are far left, far liberal. They tend to have more interest in what benefits them and their donors as opposed to the actual citizens who vote on them. So that is why Brandon Johnson is a far worse mayor than Lori Lightfoot ever was. Okay, she was bad enough. He is even worse. And the people are literally crying. Okay, the Bible talks about people moaning and groaning when an evil person is in power. But when the righteous are in power, the people rejoice. Okay, they cannot do that with someone like Brandon Johnson at the helm. And he wants to go up against these policies of the federal government, getting rid of these and deporting these illegals. He wants to maintain these people because he's doing what his party wants him to do. He is a puppet. Okay, he is a puppet. Now, I'm about to show you a clip of him, Brandon Johnson, yes, answering questions. And I want you to see how he deflected this question.
Yesterday, your corporation counsel was stepping in to address the issue about whether you'd go to Washington. When I reached out to the committee, I was told that the chairman of this committee who wants you to testify about Sanctuary City expects you to be there. And if not, they will use whatever means they have available, including subpoena power, to require you, to compel you to be there. Will you go voluntarily, or will they have to be forced to compel you?
Now, this man was a little mad and was stumbling over his words and everything. Subpoena power, are you going to go willingly, or are you going to face some more heat? Because you know you're dealing with Donald Trump. Donald Trump is an alpha male. He don't play this beta male mess. I know y'all used to these sugar-coated men. And when you see a real man like Donald Trump, you all be all up in your feelings. But that's how real men act. I know we haven't seen one in a long time in the White House. Not since Donald Trump was the president the first time, his 45th president. I know. It's been 4 long years of Jim Crow Joe. And then, you know, you had 8 years of Barack Hussein Obama. But let's just hear what he got to say.
I wish the next time you talk to the committee chair, ask him if he would be interested in doing a hearing on how reparations can transform people's lives. Just ask him, but here's what I'm getting at. This oversight committee, of all the things that they want to have sight over, they should look at the White House right now. That White House is being ran in one of the most raggedy forms of government that I've ever seen. If anybody is questioning whether or not what our country would look like had the Confederacy won, there should be no question now. They want us to be afraid. Do not be afraid, Chicago. Whether it's an invitation or a subpoena, I'm always going to stand up for the interests of working people. And I will not be intimidated by some weak individual who won't stand up to an individual who believes he's a supreme being right now. You're worried about Chicago? Look in your front yard. We have a president right now who is obfuscating his responsibilities that should be very clear based upon the Constitution. He is rejecting the Constitution of the United States of America. And if they want to have a real discussion about undocumented individuals who are criminals, they should look at the very individuals who enslaved my people and colonized this land. So whether it's an invitation or a subpoena, the people of Chicago will not be intimidated or threatened by any individual who is unwilling to look in their own front yard of where the real threat to our democracy lies. Thank you all very much.
I know he thought he got down with that speech. He had to take a little sip of water. Woo! Okay, so the question was he going to go willingly? You know, the subpoena and everything. He deflected and went off on, Donald Trump, basically white supremacy, my ancestors being enslaved. That was not the answer to that question. Okay, he deflected big time. And he's talking about running something into the ground and something being raggedy. All your citizens don't like you, the ones that got good sense anyway. None of them like you. Chicago Flips Red is, they really up against you, always in the city council meetings. And you want to say that Donald Trump's government is raggedy? He hadn't been in office this second term, not very long now. It hasn't even been 2 weeks. And this man, Brandon Johnson, has really driven his own city into the ground. Now, I'm going to need you Democrat voting people who vote blue no matter who. Y'all need to do better. You get another demon rat, you're going to get more of the same, and it's going to be worse. I already told you that. It's getting worse and worse and worse with that party. And that, you know what you need to do. Now, it's going to be hard for anybody to step up and be like a Republican, or it could be an independent or some other party, but you need to make sure you have a clear understanding of how everything works, what this person's background is, so you know them, and don't look at the fact if they Black. I'm begging you, don't do it. Where has that gotten you in Chicago? Where has that gotten you? You've got some things to get together now. You got this infrastructure needs to be built to, build up for somebody. A movement needs to take place at the grassroots level, basically, for somebody to run as other than a demon rat. So money needs to be behind that person. There needs to be a grassroots movement. It's going to be harder to do than what you think. But if you really want change, it's going to have to happen at that level. And it's not going to be as easy as because Democrats have been running Chicago since the earlier part of the 20th century. They've been running that town. And you guys have not gotten anything in exchange for your vote. And it's a Democrat. It is not the person so much as it is the party. So whatever person the Democrat Party puts up is going to do the same thing. And that is something that I'm trying to get people to see. So you're going to need to get a MAGA Republican or somebody else who has a Make America Great Again mindset, who has the people's best interest at heart. But it's not ever going to be a Democrat. I don't care if it's your uncle, your favorite auntie. It doesn't matter. It's a Democrat. And I don't know how plainer I can make it. You're going to get the same thing. He went and did some fear mongering. He brought up slavery, reparations, all of that. Should Black Africans, people in Africa, be giving Black folks in America reparations because they're the ones who gave us to the Europeans? Should they be paying us reparations? Oh, y'all don't want to talk about that, do you? Oh, no, it's white man's fault. We are responsible for our own choices, okay? And even when we vote a certain way. All right? So we need to vote our values. I know Black folks claim Christianity. I know a lot of us are good Christian folks, mind our own business, obey the law. Most of us do, although we are portrayed horribly in the media. But we need to vote our values. All right? Vote our values. This man right here has done nothing. You pee and moan. No matter how many times you pee and moan about Brandon Johnson. And you saw her name is Danielle Walters get up there and just, she's sick and tired of it. She wants a forensic audit. We need to see, she said, where the money's going, where it's being spent. Oh, I always say follow the money. You want to see what's going on? Follow the money. I guarantee you, Brandon Johnson is being compensated handsomely for doing absolutely nothing. Okay, remember, the Black Democrat politician's job is to keep the Black vote subjugated to the Democrat Party, that party of slavery, Jim Crow, and the KKK. And no, the parties did not switch. Sorry, that's not going to do. That's alternative history. All right? So, Chicagoans, please, you need to get rid of Brandon Johnson. He is not going to change. He is a Democrat. He is standing 10 toes down with this. We're a welcoming city. Why don't you be a welcoming city to the people who've been paying taxes there? Stop being a welcoming city to these illegals, bringing in all kinds of trafficking and drugs and chaos. Why don't you do that? You say you want to take care of the hardworking people of your city? Prove it. Get the illegals out of there because they're crying to you about they don't want them there. You have got to be kidding me. That man is determined to run y'all into the ground. You know what? Y'all vote differently next time. Because if I see y'all get another demon rat mayor and you get the same results, I am just going to go off on the citizens of Chicago at that point. And I know it's a lot of beautiful people. You're just lovely, but vote differently. Vote differently. Thank you all for watching. Don't forget to smash that like button, comment, share, subscribe, hit all notifications. You all be blessed. Love God, your families, these United States of America, and march on, warriors.